Hello again from Buffer's Brewery. So here I am in splendid isolation, keeping myself socially distant from anybody and everybody, avoiding this coronavirus that we're having. So I'm trying to think of things to do. So it occurred to me that it would be nice, as you know, I have a couple of King Kegs, and you always read online about King Kegs being leaky and all that sort of thing. So I thought it'd be a good idea to spend my time making a gadget that I could check the cap for leaks before I actually put any beer into the keg, and without using the keg as a pressure vessel and consuming loads of gas. So something to do really, not necessarily a serious project, but something to do. So just thought I'd make a video, show you what I got up to, see if it's of interest to you. So the first job is to smooth out any imperfections that are on the underside of the cap. And you can do this by lapping in. This is a piece of toughened glass, it's an old fridge shelf, piece of very fine wet and dry, and basically a little bit of soapy water, and you can see the hollow points because they remain shiny, and when you've got the whole surface flat, it is all nice and matte in finish and with no shiny spots. I don't know if you can see, there's just a little shiny spot just there which I'm working on. Everything else is nicely matte, so we're nearly there. I've been doing this for about 5-10 minutes because it takes it down very slowly. That's what you want. You don't want to stay off too fast if you want to end up with a nice flat surface. I think that'll do. That's flattened off that surface. Now that can become a sealing face. You can clamp that down on the sealing face, pressurise it, and just leak test the cap in isolation from the rest of the King Keg. Then once you know the cap is airtight, all you've got to worry about is the seal on the rim of the keg. So there's the nice flat edge. But what I want to do now is I'm going to just cut back these nibs, whatever they're called, lugs, so that I can create a circular ring, because that's where I want to make a seal, and I don't want these lugs holding the cap off. So it's going to take about 2 millimeters off of the bottom of each lug to create a circular sealing face. Okay, so I've just, like I said, taken a couple of mil off of each lug. So I've now just got a nice circular sealing face. So the plan is to have a flat surface onto which I could put a rubber seal, and then I can clamp the cap down from above, pressurise just the cap, and test the integrity of the joins on the cap. That's the plan. So the next stage is to make a bottom and a top for the clamp. So this is the clamp I've made. So a disc of, I think it's 10mm ply, which I've put a couple of coats of varnish on. 6 M8 bolts, and then the top, that's the base, and the top is a couple of bits of 8mm ply, which I've stuck together and made this kind of recess. I've notched both pieces so that it's easier to match the holes up, because they're not exactly 60 degree pitch. And then on the bottom I've got, for a sealing face, a piece of neoprene rubber. Get the notch in the right place, that's it. So that goes in there. Yep, goes in there. And then the cap that I'm going to pressure test fits in there. So I've drilled a hole for my pressure gauge, and little vent valve. Just make sure you put it so that you've got access to the gas valve. I mean, I've modified mine. Usually it's vertical, I know, but this is at right angles. So then you put top on. It in the centre. That's it. On with the washers. Tighten it down pretty as even as you can. That's it. And that's ready to go. Well, I've given it a good spray with soapy water around the top and also on the bottom join. I just want to put a splash of CO2 in, and you'll see how little it needs. That's 12 psi. A quick look around to see if there's any obvious leaks. Lots of bubbles, but just 11.5 psi. Just so one of the benefits of this approach is that it's easy to maneuver, and I can use a glass of water to check the valve to see if that's leaking. That's the non-return valve, which is actually inside the keg. Well, that's 10 minutes, and there's a little bit of a leak there in the bottom, but I probably could tighten that up, but there's certainly no signs of significant leaks on the top. Pressure is just under 11.5 now. That's probably because of that. I could just tighten it up a bit more, but anyway, proves the principle. So having established that those leaks are all right, and only used a small amount of CO2 to test them, when I put this lid onto my next keg, the only seal I've got to worry about is the one between the keg and the cap. And if there are any leaks, I know it's the between the keg and the cap. Well, that's the fruits of my labour. Taken 2 or 3 days to build, all with waiting for varnish to dry and deliveries and stuff. Cost me £2 for the bolts, a £5 for the rubber sheet, £7, 3 days. That's alright. Whether I'll ever use it again, who knows. I think it's got its value. See you next time.